Welcome back to another YouTube video, guys. In this one, we are going to be going over my scalping strategy and how I make consistent $250 to $500 per day. Now, you absolutely do not need a big portfolio to do this strategy, and I'm going to be going over all the risk management and trade management for this strategy in this video as well. So make sure you watch this video to the end, click that like button, subscribe, and let's jump right into it. Before this video begins, I want you guys to click the link in the bio and join the free Discord community. I post my trades in there every single day, go live, post my analysis. We have a community of almost 13,000 people, and I have a team of over 10 analysts posting trades daily. So make sure you guys take advantage of that, click that, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys there. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so jumping into the chart, I'm gonna go over each step in order, so make sure you guys pull out your notepads and take notes. I'm also gonna have the steps on the screen simplified down for you guys, so if you guys feel like you know one step more than the other, you guys can kind of skip around and hop around. So first and foremost, I'm actually just gonna go to a random day like September 20th, for example, and I'm going to show you the strategy, my thought process, and the actual step that you need to execute. And then once we're in the trade, how I like to manage the trade. First and foremost, you want to hop on the 5-minute time frame. If you go up here on TradingView, you're going to be able to set the time frame to 1 minute, 5 minute, an hour, 1 day. Now, different strategies have different time frames. For this one specifically, you're going to want the 5-minute. Cool. Now, once we're on the 5-minute time frame, the first part of the strategy is very similar to the RV model, the reversal model. You're not going to want to trade for the first, I'd say, 2 hours of market open. Now, I know that's very hard for some people. Some people like entering trades. Some people are very impatient. But why this step is so important is because we need data and we need market structure to actually take trades from. So when you have that 2 hours of market open, it's really going to kind of give you an idea of, for one, what the sentiment is that day. 2, it's going to give you some price action for that day to play around with. And then 3, you're going to be able to kind of mark out your lows or highs for the day within those 2 hours. So for example, coming into September 20th, first 2 hours of market open kind of is on a downtrend here to about 8:30. I'm gonna say we are not going to take any trades. We are going to let price just play out, see what happens. And to mark this out for you guys, I'm just going to create a box for the first 2 hours of market open. So now you guys could do this on your own, or you guys could just simply map out the highs, and then down here we have what's the lows. So these highs and lows are not confirmed yet. It's just basically what we have with the data we have so far. Obviously we could sweep the highs, break it, and continue up, or sweep lows, break the lows, and continue down. But for now, this is the only piece of information we have, so we're going to take advantage of it and we're going to try to use it. Now, once you have the highs and lows mapped out, this is where you're going to want to zoom out a little bit, and now you're going to use previous day's price action and wicks and candles to identify a buy side or sell side liquidity. In this case, if we look at our highs here, you can see it lines up pretty nicely with this wick, and it lines up pretty nicely with this wick. So what I'm seeing here is as soon as price hits this area, price is moving, it is not staying. That is something we want to draw in on our charts. So I'm going to also pull out my box tool for this, and I'm just going to take it from the top of this wick to the bottom of this wick right here. And dragging this out, you can see it actually lines up pretty nicely with the price action that we have for the day so far. So we initially opened near the top of this liquidity zone, and we ended up downtrending on the day, eventually creating a low and then bouncing up and reversing back into that liquidity. After I see that, for one, we hit liquidity, rejected off of it, created a low, created our lows here, reversing back up into liquidity. This is where I want to patiently wait and take my scalp trade. So I'm going to want to wait until we retest this liquidity to enter, and once we hit the retest, I want to enter short positions, putting a stop slightly at a high. There is a strategy for take profits in this case, and we're going to use a very simple indicator called VWAP. If we go to the top here where it says indicators and then simply type in VWAP, you're going to get what's called volume weighted average price. Just add that to your chart, and once you do that, it should look something like this up here. Right now I have it hidden, but I'm going to show you and uncheck it, and it looks something like this. Yours may look a little different. It might be different colors. All you have to do is go into the gear icon right here, go to style, and then you can change the color of your VWAP as well as the colors of your upper band and lower band. For me personally, I don't like the fill it has, so I just click here and I change the opacity to 0. So once we have that, it should look something like this. And VWAP is going to be a very essential indicator for your entries as well as your take profits and trims. As you guys can see, we actually do not bounce off the lows here. We're actually bouncing off the lower band VWAP. So what we could do is, to be safer, we can set our take profit to our lower band VWAP. This is going to significantly reduce our risk to reward ratio, but in this case, that shouldn't be a problem. So once we have the trade lined up, this is actually a trade that I personally took and I called it out in the Discord server, and you guys were able to follow it, scalp it with me, and make some money. So what we did was we ended up taking trims at the VWAP band itself, and then once you guys see we broke the VWAP band, we actually come back and retest it and then continue down to our lower band, and that is when you want to fully exit the trade. Also, for better confirmation, there is another strategy to enter using VWAP. Catching an entry using VWAP, we can actually wait for a break of the upper band VWAP. In this case, I'm gonna turn this lesson into kind of a VWAP lesson as well. I want you guys to get really comfortable with this indicator. It's gonna help you a lot in the future. Since this is the average price right here that SPY is trading on comparative to volume on the day, when price is below our lower band VWAP, that is telling us that price is undervalued, and when price is above the upper band VWAP, that is telling us that price is overvalued. Risk to reward wise, you're going to want to take puts off the upper band and calls off the lower band. So in this case, there's actually 3 things that line up for this trade. Not only do we tap liquidity, tap our daily highs, we also end up trading above the upper band VWAP, and if you guys pay attention right here, we end up cracking that and breaking below it. And this can also be a confluence or trigger for entry. Obviously, it is going to be less profit because it is not as good of an entry as catching it at the highs. So that is an example of a trade we took. So once again, we have the lows and the highs mapped out for the day. As you guys can see, first 2 hours, we are not going to be trading. So from 6:30 a.m. to about 8:30 a.m., we are not taking any trades. All we're going to do is sit patiently. Now, once we map in our highs and lows, we're going to want to wait until price plays out to about 8:30 to 9 a.m. ish. And I'm going to show you guys once again where entry would be. Entry is about right here. And then you can set your stop loss at new highs with your take profit at the lower band VWAP. And this trade is going to be easily a 3 risk to reward ratio, and trimming at VWAP is recommended. So entering multiple contracts and trimming at the VWAP band is highly suggested. Now, when I told you guys I was going to go over trade management and risk management, I'm going to go over that for this example, and then you guys can apply it for all the other ones. So hypothetical, let's say I take 10 contracts of SPY puts here. So my initial entry is going to be 10 contracts. And once we hit the VWAP band here, and for reference, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't take 0 DTE contracts. I'm a very conservative trader. I like having some wiggle room if I do want to swing it into the next day. So what I like to do is take 1 DTE or 2 DTE contracts. If you guys don't know what 1 DTE or 2 DTE is, I'm gonna have a full guide explaining how to trade options. Check the description. I'm gonna have it linked in there. Go look at that video. It's actually gonna help you get started. I would typically take, let's say 10 contracts here, for example. Once we hit our lower band VWAP, I would probably trim about maybe 3 contracts. So 3 contracts, we'll say that's plus, that looks like it would be about plus 15%, give or take, not exactly. So 3 contracts are gonna get trimmed at 15%, and this is where you're gonna wanna set your stop losses to break even. Now, worst comes to worst in this trade, it becomes risk-free. We secured 15% profit on 3 contracts, and we have 7 contracts running at complete risk-free with uncapped potential. So next stop is gonna be at our VWAP band itself, this is where you're going to want to take more contracts out. So it's going to be about 4 cons. Over here would probably be about 40% profit. And that is going to be 4 contracts secured. So far we are scaling out 7 contracts, and we are only in 3 more contracts for the trade, or in other words, our runners. Now you have 2 options here, whether you want to wait for a sweep of the lows, or you want to wait for a sweep of or retest of the liquidity zone, or you just want to secure your runners profits at the lower band VWAP. That is also a good option. So this pretty much sums up the video. If you guys want to come live trade with me every single day, see my analysis, see the trades I take and why I take my trades, click the link in the bio. If you guys did find this video helpful, make sure you guys click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.